when you're winning. Get a goal, it's just the beginning. You gotta sing when you're winning. Everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. You gotta sing when you're winning. Get a goal, it's just the beginning. Sing, sing when you're winning. Everywhere you go.
Hello and welcome to episode 15 of the Sing When You're Winning, a Fantasy Football League oddity podcast featuring distant cousins of podcast royalty and a very special guest this week who we will reveal very, very shortly. But waiting in line for the podcast throne once again this week are myself, Jamie, we've got Steve, and a welcome return for our Jersey boy and super sub, not quite Dan James, we've got Chris with us. So thank you once again for joining us last minute. And we look forward to having you on this week's pod. Before we introduce our special guest, I want everyone to introduce themselves, the name of their team, and this is the most tenuous link I've done yet. As we've had the US election this week, it's a tenuous link about voting. Have you ever voted for the match of the day, goal of the month? And if so, when and for what goal? Or you can just say, what's the best Premier League goal you've ever seen, if that's easier, to be fair. Anyone want to go with the best Premier League goal you've ever seen? I imagine Tony Yeboah might come up in this conversation. But
yeah, take a pick.
Yeah. Anyone want to go first?
Yeah, I would have to go with the Yeboah goal, just being a Leeds fan, and everyone would normally say the classic one against Liverpool, but I prefer the one against Wimbledon, I think, when he jiggled it on both knees and whilst he was running and then just unleashed one into the top corner. I think that was one of my more memorable ones. But I mean, it's thousands to pick from now anyway, Premier League, isn't there?
Well, yeah. But I imagine for Leeds fans, the Yeboah ones are probably at the top. Chris, would you say the same?
Yes, I'm Chris, manager of Park and Lottia, and I'm going to go, well, I would usually go with Yeboah, and this is not going to be popular, but Harry Kewell was one of my idols growing up. And I would say one of the best goals he's ever scored was against Aston Villa. We lost 2-1. Southgate scored 2. But he pretty much from the kickoff the second half, and he just smashed it pretty much in there, just inside of the own half. And keeper had no chance. But one of my favourite goals, that one from the left wing.
You can't beat a goal where it's smashed kind of long distance as well.
Yeah, 40 yards.
I'm Jamie. I'm manager of Jamie's Giants in the Championship, and my favourite goal would probably be from one of my favourite ever games when Middlesbrough smashed Man U 4-1 at home. I think it's about 2005, 2006, and we murdered them in the first half. And Mendieta kind of just was running through midfield and just launched one. And Man U had some cracking players that day, and we smashed them 4-1. I watched it in a Newcastle pub, jumping up and down, and didn't get my head kicked in because everyone was against Man U, so it was all good. Very rare to do that as a Middlesbrough fan in the centre of Newcastle on Saturday night. But anyway, it was all good stuff. So let's introduce our special guest. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll have already spotted him. But this week's special guest, according to, I always go off Wikipedia. So you can think it's nonsense if you like. But this week's special guest is an English former first-class cricketer who played for Yorkshire as well as Warwickshire and in the brilliant Big Bash League Down Under. He played as a fast medium bowler who, according to someone on Wikipedia, they've said had ability with the bat. So I don't know how you feel about that. He was a member of the England team that won the World 2020 and retained the Ashes in Australia in the early 2010s. Let's give a warm Sing When You're Winning podcast welcome to the legend who is Tim Bresnan, Brez.
Thank you.
Welcome on to the pod.
Hi, guys.
So, you all right? Do you want to share your team name and how long you've been playing fantasy football?
I'm a late starter to fantasy football, I guess. I've probably only been playing 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Maybe even less, probably. 4, maybe at most. My team name is XG is the key, after Jesse Marsh's famous babbling bollocks that he used to talk. I just thought it was like, mate, shut up, you're talking absolute nonsense. So yeah, XG is the key. I managed to win last week. I don't know how many points I got. I'm not really that I'm not a nuff bag. Let's put it that way. I'm not a fantasy Premier League like nuffy. I just kind of pick the players that are in form and that I can afford, and then always forget to switch my captain, which sometimes works out well, sometimes doesn't. But I did okay last year. I managed to make the playoffs. So yeah, that's my team. And by the way, Wikipedia is usually full of it, but that you seem to have got that spot on.
Well, I added in the Big Bash League stuff because I particularly love it. But anyway, so yeah, but the had ability with the bat, I thought was an interesting comment to describe because I think you're not a bad batsman either. Good.
Yeah, a bit harsh that. Bit harsh.
I'd have said a bit more than that. So do you have a favourite goal as well? Do you want to share is it a favourite Leeds goal or favourite Premier League goal?
I think it's not Premier League goal, but we were just talking about him actually. Bill at Ellen Road against Huddersfield Town when he smashed that volley in the top bins, and went nuts, slid over into the corner flag flicked his hair out of his ponytail and he's doing his air guitar. I thought that was absolutely class, and I was perfectly in line. I was sat on sort of the halfway line on his side of the field, like on the sort of corner of the 18-yard box, and we saw the line of the ball. Honestly, it's like one of the best goals I've seen live, I reckon. That or Stewie Dallas, Cookstown Cafu, and he got two in quick succession. They were Premier League, weren't they? But that was in COVID, wasn't it? I think back end of COVID.
Yeah, sadly,
yeah, I think it would have been. Good stuff. Well, we're going to have a bit more of a chat with you in a moment or two, asking about why you support Leeds United and all of that good stuff. There'll be questions aplenty for you. But let's have a review of game week 10 in Sing When You're Winning. So over to Steve.
Right, okie dokie. We shall start with now 10 points in, which is kind of like the first checkpoint and a quarter of the way through the season. So a good chance to sort of compare this to when you've got 20 games in, whether it's all going badly or not. In the Premier League, anyway, a return to winning ways for Mark Summerton. He beat Mark Horseman. Tom Roberts got the league high score of 74, and he was playing John Gregory, who got the league lowest score, I think, of 24. So it was a bad combination for him. Chris Stokes was the next highest there. He got 55 to beat Nikolai's 32. Faris Badwan came off the bottom of the table, comfortably beating Michelle Gale, who's now in trouble down there as well. There's very close wins in that division for Neil Martin against Steve Taylor, Rick Witter against Andrew Chester, me versus Leon, and Ben Shires versus Chris Payne, who's usually with us but not tonight. This morning. It's this Friday morning, isn't it? Yeah.
Friday morning.
Sorry, it's just been a long week. Top of the table then is Mark Summerton with 27 points. Neil Martin chasing him with 25. Ed Chesters has got 24, and Andrew Chester, there's a bit of a gap then, is 5 points behind him on 19. And the bottom 5 have all got 9 points, and that's Michelle Gale, Adam Devlin, Leon Farrer, Faris Badwan off the bottom, and John Gregory is bottom. Championship, close matches again there. A high score for Stu, who got 58 to beat Lee. They were both former champions, but are both now playing in the championship. Other players with 50-plus scores were Alistair Griffin, who beat Joe, Tim Ward, who beat Mark Morris, and Jim, who went top by beating Carl, last week's guest. It's the curse, Tim. You'll be losing this week. Jamie, you just beat bottom team Jonas, and Henry pipped Swanee late on in stoppage time there on Monday night. league table wise there in this tightest division of them all. Only 21 points at top here, 21 for Jim, 21 for Andrew Clancy. Third place, Tom Gregory, 19, Henry with 19, you, Jamie, with 18, and Stu with 18 as well. And the bottom three is Mark Morris with 10, Lee Cooper with 7, and Jonas with 6. League One. The top scorer in League One was you, Brez. 58. It's stuffing Frankie Francis. The comfy wins elsewhere for Craig Wilson versus Gareth Youngs. Lee Nicholson also in his top end match with Phil Quaw, and Anton Witter beats Magic Ben. Other pretty close matches there, and wins for Stu, Mike, Jamie, Steve Wybrant, and Rich Pipes. And Ben Hope got a 1-point win over Paul Spence. League tables there. I better point out Brez is now in the top half because he's been in the bottom half most of the season, but now he's just sneaked back into the right end of things. But Lee Nicholson's top 24, Jamie Hurst 24, Rich Pipes 21, Anton Witter 19, Ben Hope 18, Mike Bushell back in the playoffs with 18, and the bottom 4 is Nathan Clark with 9, who you played last year in the playoff semi-final, I think, Brez. And Frankie Francis is third bottom with 9. Nigel is 7 points, and rock bottom is Chesney, who lost again, ending his little turnaround in fortunes. Conference League, the highest score was Grace Maloney with a 59. She beat Indy Hawks, and the second highest score was 57 for Natalie Pike, who beat Casey Hawks. Other 50-plus scores for Sophie versus Paul Tonkinson, Ben Halliwell versus Pete Martini in a top-end clash, and Joe Singleton, down at the bottom, beat Chris Murray, who's struggling. And a couple of points between the matches for Neil Robertson versus Duke Witter, Maddox versus Alfie, and Vicky Sparks versus Finn, whilst George Pearson, who's a Brentford fan and went to the match on Monday night, was winning his match. And obviously Brentford were winning going into 90 minutes, but then after injury time, Brentford lost and he lost.
Oh, double.
So a miserable night for him. League table-wise, Vicky Sparks is top with 27, Ben Halliwell 25, Duke Witter 24, then there's Grace 22, Pete 21, Natalie 19, and Alfie 19. And at the bottom, 5 points adrift now, the bottom 3, Becky Bass with 4, Chris Murray with 3, and Paul Tonkinson, rock bottom of the whole league, with 3.
Ooh. I think it's worth saying in the championship, the top 6 all have over 600 points, isn't it, for the season? The flying.
The Conference League, yeah.
Conference League. So yeah, if they were in any other league, they'd probably be flying through that as well.
Yeah. So it's interesting. It'll take them 3 years to get in my division, as long as they don't get relegated.
There's a lot of talent in the conference, is what we're saying there. Right, let's have a bit of a look ahead to game week 11. But first of all, quick question. Transfer in or out if you have Haaland. I know not everyone has Haaland, but if you've got him, is now the time to drop him?
Nah, keep him in. I haven't got him.
You haven't got him.
No. Keep him in.
I've got him and I'm keeping him.
I've got him and I'm keeping him, but I'm thinking of, there's a few others I'm thinking of getting rid of. I'm up to 3 free transfers now. I'm thinking about holding out to get to the Magic 5 and do a bit, because I'd quite like to bring Diaz in if I could. I think he's the man to have in your side. Brez said no to that.
Salah, I think Salah.
I told Diaz last week.
Yeah. Got a hat-trick this week in the Champions League, though, didn't he? So he's obviously got his scoring boot somewhere.
Yeah, I started with Jota, and I swapped him for Diaz when Diaz was on fire, and then Diaz stopped and then weren't even playing, so then I just got rid of him as well. So
I've got Diaz and Salah now. I've just taken a 4-point hit.
But no Haaland.
No Haaland. I've just taken out Nicholas Jackson and put in Wood. I've probably jinxed him now. And I put Anya at the back as well, because he's on decent points and he's cheap. Yeah,
he won me my game last week. He scored really highly, which was good. But yeah, Brez, do you have Haaland in your team?
No, never had him.
Not planning to either, by the sounds of that.
Nah, far too expensive. I'm a tight Yorkshireman.
Even with fake FPL money, you're a tight Yorkshireman. I love it.
He's like 15, what is he, 15-7 now or something?
So stupid like
Nah,
that.
be going down this week anyway. Michelle dropped that bomb in this morning, didn't she, saying she'd sold him, and then suddenly they're all coming out, I've sold him as well, and he's bound to score a hat-trick this week, isn't he, now?
I'm holding on. He's got to come good at some point again. I mean,
I'm still
at some point, like, he's doing badly, but you know what I mean?
I'm still relying on Cole Palmer. I still have faith in him. I think he'll be top point scorer this season.
Yeah. Well, I was even debating getting rid of him again because I got rid of him, brought him back in, and he's done crap since I brought him back in. Well, not crap, but he's not scoring the heights he was.
Yeah. Well, I've stuck with Foden all season, and I just know he's going to come good at some point, but it's going to be the week when I get rid of him because my patience is running thin now.
Yeah, he's not scoring many points, is he?
No, he scores in Europe.
Yeah, in Europe, yeah. It's that classic Pep roulette time, though, isn't it? Let's have a look ahead. I picked 3 games on a weekend to look ahead to. So predictions from the panel. Saturday night, we've got 2 games on the telly, which is quite good. The 8 o'clock game on TNT is Liverpool Villa, which I think is a cracking Saturday night.
Tasty, yeah.
So what do we think? Liverpool Villa, who wants to go first?
I pick Villa. I'm going to go for Villa. I think it's probably going to be a draw, but I fancy Villa for a cheeky away win.
Yeah.
Yeah. If Morgan Rogers is playing and Watkins starting, but then you've got what's his name, Duran up front as well, but he'd be coming off the bench. But I rate Villa. They're playing tonight in Europe, so I think if they win again, they'll be top of the Champions League as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Villa are a decent side this year, again as last year.
Watkins is starting to annoy me. He's the one I'm debating selling.
Yeah, he's not scoring that many.
He's not doing much at all, and he's quite an expensive striker, so he's the guy I might drop. So get on him because he's bound to score Saturday night if I get rid of him. Brez, what do you think, Liverpool Villa?
Yeah, probably. I do like Villa. Went to watch them a few times a couple of years ago when I played down there, Warwickshire. Nice team to watch. Like, decent atmosphere as well. Went to watch Leeds there as an away supporter as well. It's a good ground. But as far as score prediction, I reckon, probably a draw. I do like Villa at the minute as well, and I think obviously they're trending upwards, and the pool are sort of might be trending downwards a little bit, maybe. I don't know.
I mean,
it's difficult, isn't it? And I think they're due a hiccup, maybe. We'll just have to wait and see. But I think, probably a draw. Either that or Villa 1-0 or something like that. But I do agree with you when you speak about dropping Watkins and stuff. So if you drop him, let me know and I'll buy him.
It's almost
Same with Foden.
It's all, as I sit here right now, it's almost certain that Watkins is going. But might change my mind. So Steve, what's your thoughts? Liverpool Villa.
I quite fancy Liverpool at home, really. Villa, I think the European thing might backfire on them a little bit. I reckon 2-1 Liverpool or something like that. Good. Salah's on fire, and hopefully Trent will get one as well. That would be nice.
Yeah, Trent needs one, definitely. He's scoring well in the league, but he's not scoring goals as much. How about Man U Leicester Sunday afternoon? Do we think Van Nistelrooy's got a final win in him?
Yeah, I think they will. I think they might win that quite comfortably, actually. Yeah. I think they're all a bit buoyed about getting rid of the manager.
I wouldn't know if they beat them 5-2, but I mean Leicester did make 8-9 changes that game. I think it'd be quite close. I do expect Man United to win that though, but I think it'd be quite close.
Chelsea Arsenal though has to be the big game of the weekend. I fancy Chelsea to win quite comfortably the way Arsenal's confidence is at the moment. I think Chelsea will do this one at home. Any other thoughts?
Completely agree.
Yeah, you might be right, but then can Arsenal have to come good again at some point, aren't they? So
Yeah, possibly not away at Chelsea though. Brez, what were you saying there?
I said I completely agree with that. Yeah, definitely. Chelsea just look solid out there. Like,
I only
definitely
want
solid.
Chelsea. Yeah, I only want Chelsea only because of Captain Palmer. I need the points. I need a win. I've lost the last 3, so I need them to produce.
I think he'll come good against us. Yeah, I think I said on the pod last week, I fancy Chelsea's outsiders for the title. And as each week goes by, I definitely think Chelsea could be the ones to win the league this season. We'll see, though.
Did anybody get any closer to our predictions last week? We make all these predictions.
We
never actually cross-checked.
Well, I predicted that Newcastle would beat Arsenal, and everyone said I was talking nonsense, and they did. So I finally got one right. I just think Arsenal are so low on confidence at the moment that if you'd want to play them right now, especially when they're away from home. So I think Chelsea will do them.
And Saka's not been playing very well either. I think they rely too heavily on him. And obviously Odegaard's been now injured as well, and I think that's probably the missing link with Arsenal. As soon as Odegaard comes back, it might be a different story. But yeah, I definitely fancy Chelsea this weekend for that.
Yeah, I think Arsenal will come good, but the gap, they're not the kind of team that finishes strongly in a season either. So yeah, I think Arsenal are probably already out of the run. That's a bold statement to make, but I think they are.
Yeah,
right.
You could probably trace it back to me buying Saliba, because ever since I got Saliba and he's not kept a clean sheet, he got sent off on his debut.
Yeah, more than likely. Although we've not seen Dan for a couple of weeks, I'm sensing he's got the whole Arsenal team in his fantasy league. And somewhere Dan is the person who's cursing them completely. Right, let's have a bit more of a chat with you, Brez. So why Leeds United? Might be obvious reason, but why do you support Leeds United?
Well, yeah, I grew up just down the road from Ellen Road in Castleford. Didn't go much as a kid, but obviously when I started playing for Yorkshire, I had loads of spare time on our hands and a guy who could get tickets. So started going quite a bit when I was 16, 17, and yeah, just sort of fell in love with the atmosphere, the club, the team at the time. It was just really good. Like, to go relax, watch some football, have a couple of beers, and soak up some atmosphere. It was really good.
Who were the players at that time? Then you said the team at the time. Who were the ones you looked out for?
Now you're testing me. It was Johnny the Howitzer Howson. He was in there. It was Alan Smith, Mike Viduka. I think Dave caught it at the end of Dave Batty's career. I'm probably naming players from different eras now. You're really testing me.
What's your highest of high support on Leeds, and then your lowest of lows?
I actually travelled to Old Trafford and watched Jermaine Beckford poke that one in across the line in the 88th minute or something to win 1-0. That was probably we were sat in the away end, the home end as well, because Anthony McGrath, the opening batter, a big Man U fan, and he managed to get 6-7 tickets in the corporates. So quite a lot of us went across, and quite a lot of us were Leeds fans. So we're sort of, as he's poked in, refs pointed to the centre of the field, we're all like, just sit down, let's just sit down, it's fine. You're going to get filled in and then kicked out.
You've got to be careful, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a really good day. But apart from that, started taking my lad as well. Occasionally when it's not depths of winter on a Wednesday night at 8:00 kickoff. Yeah. So the Saturdays and some Sundays when I can get, that's good with the kids and stuff, sit in the family stand. But still waiting on a season ticket. Just can't manage to get one. It's tough.
Yeah, a long wait.
I know. So luckily I've got a few contacts from my time at Yorkshire and England and stuff. So yeah, managed to secure a few here and there. So that's good when I managed to get down and watch.
Good stuff. This is why you need to be supporting like Middlesbrough and get like any ticket you want for any game. Unless you're playing to like Man U.
Do they pay you to go watch them?
They should do. They should do. And what's your lowest of lows supporting Leeds? Sorry to bring that one up. But...
Plenty of them.
Probably. Yeah. Where do you start with that?
We've had a lot shared by Leeds on here, but yeah.
Anytime I've been relegated.
Yeah.
What else?
Bielsa leaving.
I briefly remember all that stuff with going into administration and Peter Ridsdale just like selling all the tractors and stuff, like the mowers and everything. Like that was just a shambles.
And the fish.
Yeah. I remember that because we ended up with a few of them at Headingley, cutting the outfield, which is bonkers, really, isn't it?
Well, sharing it around.
Was there a loan fee?
No, honestly, it was bonkers. I think he flogged all the mowers like to raise some capital, and then Yorkshire ended up buying one, and then obviously the debt got written off, and then he told the groundsman, go out and buy whatever you want, replace what you've just sold, like as in open checkbook.
Yeah,
that's a good business model, that, isn't it? These fans are just going, what is going on here? That sounds pretty bonkers.
Right, well, we'll move away from the Lords of Leeds United. Everyone's got homework every week to have a question prepared to ask you. And I appreciate Chris is just off the subs bench, so I'll give him a bit more time. But the first question, as ever, just go with it. What's the best perk you've ever had as part of a sponsorship deal?
Best perk. A Jaguar XFRS limited edition. Yeah. So England was sponsored at the time by Jaguar. You probably do remember that. And they basically, when they signed the deal, they were like, lads, go on this website, order your car, like pick your seat, pick your coloured seats, pick everything out. That was pretty sweet. And then like everything was just covered, apart from the fuel.
Yeah.
Nice.
Don't know how they managed it. But we had to give it back. That was the only, like, we were basically, I don't know, testers, just running them in, like just putting a few miles on, and they'd go, oh, how many miles has your car? You just get a random email or text message, how many miles has your car got on it? And you go, like 4,500, and they go, oh, can I have it back in 3 weeks' time? You just go, oh.
give it back now.
yeah. And then they just get you another one exact same, so that like brand spank. So that was pretty cool for a couple of years.
Yeah.
What else? Cricket's not like that sort of football. It is like a very, very top, like obviously the sponsored car and stuff, but no one really throws free stuff at you. Not really.
No.
I mean, I've had some dodgy things, like when you turn up at tournaments and you get like the ICC like usually give every player something. So you go to a World Cup or something and you get a towel with the logo and your name spelt wrong on it and stuff like that. So that's
brilliant.
A
load of random freebies that nobody wants.
Yeah, exactly.
For Tim Bresnan.
Yeah. Jim, it's usually.
Jim Bresnan, that's your new name. Yeah, brilliant.
Jim Bresnan and Tim Anderson.
Great stuff. Chris, have you thought?
Yeah, I kind of have, yeah. So I remember seeing online, I was on the paper, Joe Root was in a hotel in Australia about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, still going with the Aussie boys. Is there any kind of post-match post-test tension with any sort of the international teams when you go for a drink with them? Has anyone still got a bit of beef with them or anything like that? Is there a few words, or does it just get ironed out, just have a drink for each other?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot made of sledging and all that sort of stuff in the press. but most of the teams pretty sound blokes, to be fair. It is a small community of international cricketers, and most of the lads just get on quite well with each other. I mean, there is a lot around the Ashes, and we tend to ignore each other for 6 weeks while you're playing the test matches, and then as soon as the end of the series, you like have a good old knees up together and maybe do a fines do and stuff with both teams, and it's quite cool to do that. I remember, obviously, in the Ashes down under 2013, Mitch Johnson tried to kill us pretty much for 6 or 7 weeks while the test series was going on. Tried to kill every single one of us at least once. And then, you'd have a beer with him and stuff, and it was absolutely great. And then I played with him at the Scorchers when you mentioned the Big Bash. His first sentence was, "Sorry, mate. Sorry, I tried to kill you." You're like, "Thanks." And then you just end up, going for a beer, and turns out to be an absolute legend of a bloke. So it's one of them. You spend so much time playing against each other and for the same teams in franchise cricket, so you do actually get to know everyone quite well. And I had a bit of far too many run-ins with Shane Watson. I used to think he was an utter prick, and then played with him in a Masters tournament about 3 years ago in India, and he's an absolute legend of a bloke. And you're like, oh, missed out on getting to know you and having beers with you for 15
Did he
years.
tell him he was that?
No, actually, because I got him out so many times LBW, right? And there's all these. I got there. I was one of the first into the team room, like when we were meeting up. And these what colour were we wearing? Like bright blue pads or something, right? Yeah. So I've seen his stash. It's got Watson on it. His pads are there, and his gloves are there, and stuff. And I've just painted a bullseye on his front pad and signed it. And he was like, "Who the fuck's done that?" I'm like, I'm just shoulders going in the background. He's like,
love it.
That was pretty funny. Lads were buzzing off that a little bit. But yeah, like you have a laugh at a joke. You forget that it's not like 90 minutes that you play against each other for, and then you shake hands, and then you don't see him again for 6-7 weeks, or you might play him in a cup game or whatever. It's not like football. You actually, if you're playing each other for over 3-4 months sometimes. So yeah, it stands to reason that you'd have relationships with the opposition, although none of it gets taken past the white line, but you can have a beer after, and it's all cool like that.
Yeah.
That's good. So I was going to ask you what was your reception like when you started playing the Big Bash cricket? Did you ever get any of that from the fans, even, or it's an Englishman? Or I mean, I love watching the Big Bash. It's one of the highlights of Christmas for me, watching that on a morning. But it just seems like I was in Australia 20 years ago, and the way they love cricket over there compared to here is a different world. So I imagine there'd be some banter, but it'd be friendly banter. Yeah,
no, I thought I was going to get that. I mean, at Perth as well, because Perth is one of the most hostile places to play more cricket, from when you're playing for England.
Mm-hmm.
So going to play for Perth, I thought, there might be a little bit, I might get a little bit from a few, but nah, they were absolute. Oh, Brazil, I got so much abuse. Like when I was playing there for England, and then completely flipped around when you're playing there as a Perth Scorcher, to the point where they're going, "Mate, I love the way you used to play for England." I go, "Hang on a minute, like for 2 months you called me every name under the sun, like usually to do with my weight or the size of my nose or something like that." But yeah, it's totally different, and again, the Big Bash is just totally different. It's more family, and it's just a good time and good place to be. Everyone's on school holidays. It's Christmas time, and everyone's just really happy and just loving having a day at the cricket. Sun's out, having a few beers. It's just fantastic.
Steve, do you have a question?
In 2005, then Ashes, they had famously got drunk and went to Downing Street. So where did you have a similar experience somewhere where you were really drunk and shouldn't have been?
Well, after the Ashes?
After anything really, where you've just got really drunk after a win.
Yeah.
every week.
Yeah.
Would you care to elaborate?
Oh no. It was a great time to be in the England team. Like we won every week pretty much at that time when I was playing. So yeah, we had some proper, really good celebrations. But I wasn't really into it, like to the point where my idea of celebrating is being in the changing room and being in amongst the lads and having a pint of mild, like, or a Guinness or whatever, and then just nightclubs with, champagne and with sparklers coming out of the top of it. It just wasn't really for me. So obviously I did do that and indulge the lads that wanted to and what have you, but it's just and to be honest, most of it was a bit of a shit show. Like, you'd have paparazzi waiting for you, especially if you're in London, and the British media are just absolute parasites, most of them, to be honest. So yeah, like the paparazzi's honestly really, really bad. But yeah, like most of the time you're dodging those blokes when you go out in the UK. But we managed to get away and stuff like that. But elsewhere in the world, absolutely fine. Had some. When we won the T20 World Cup in Barbados, that was probably the best one. You ever heard of Harbour Lights?
No.
It's probably on the end of St Lawrence Gap. It's like a all day, all night place where you can drink at the beach during the day and then you sort of move inside to the nightclub area. But it's class. It's all reggae music and stuff. And I remember we were in there celebrating winning the World Cup, and we walks in and Dwight York is at the bar with Brian Lara, and obviously Dwight York's like, lads, whatever you want, it's on me. And he just filled up a couple of tables just full of rum and cokes, and like, boys were loving it. That was a fantastic night. Can't remember much.
I was going to say, I bet you can't remember much. That was the crack.
No. Most of them you can't remember much, to be honest. That's probably why my memory's as bad as it is. Winning so much. Either that or getting hit on the head by bouncers.
We've got a couple of...
we've had some questions in, haven't we?
A couple of listeners' questions.
Yes.
This one's from Big Lee in Garforth, and he says, and I think this is after one of your videos you posted on the chat, have you got any better at DJing yet?
No.
You think did you post? Was it last Christmas or something? You posted it.
It was New Year's Eve. It was New Year's Eve, wasn't it?
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah, and I was at one of my mates' places. He's got look what I got for Christmas, mate. He spent quite a lot of money on this DJ setup and big speakers and tuners and tweakers and all this sort of stuff. And I was just like, this is best New Year ever. Just playing the old classics, like pretending I'm David Guetta, just scratching away.
And our next question is from Graham in Nottinghamshire. And he says, can you ask Brez if he copied his action from Catherine Brunt?
That's a typical funny question, isn't it, really? Yes, I absolutely did. I actually listened to the pod he was on. He was talking about building houses and windows and stuff like that.
You're whistling windows,
Windows, yeah.
Honestly, for the life of me, I couldn't figure out what joke he was trying to tell. paid for my windows. I don't know what's going on. He talks absolutely. He's a professional gobshite, is how you describe someone. Like I would say.
Have you got any Swanee stories while you've got the floor?
No.
No. Save that for in the bar.
Yeah.
Right.
That genuinely don't have any funny stories. He never. No. He was pretty boring as a cricketer. He's a lot funnier now than he used to be. Or he thinks he is.
Are you a better dancer than Swanee?
100%.
Will we ever see you on Strictly?
Oh yeah, he did Strictly, didn't he? I completely forgot Strictly. I'm not a Strictly fan, you see. I'm not a Strictly fan at all.
No.
Like, I literally never watch it.
What about the jungle? Would you go into the jungle?
I would do actually, yeah. Yeah. I think I would.
Would you fancy your chances with those bush tucker trials? Would they put you off, or are you not bothered?
Snakes would slightly creep me out a bit, but other than that, I think I'd be all right.
Yeah. Fair enough. Right, shall we test out your skills in Sing When You're in Superfan? Swanee got 4.
Can we not do this bit?
Can we not do this bit? I mean, you'll definitely score more than 2, or at least 2, which is the lowest. So everyone always feels nervous.
There's always a couple of easy ones, isn't there?
Yeah, there is. It's a random mix. So each week we test guests' footballing knowledge, see how many questions they can get correct in 90 seconds. So Steve has got the timer, and Chris, can you have your fingers in the air this week to add up how many Brez gets right? And when we get to the end of the 90 seconds, what are you going to shout out this week, Steve?
I don't know. I'll think of something.
You'll think of something. Are you going to actually say, I'll think of something? That would work quite well. So are you ready, Brez? Well, the time will start when I ask the first question.
Okay.
Some of these are easy. I'll say that up front. Right. Which team has won the Premier League the most times?
Man U?
Yeah. Who holds the record for the most assists in a single Premier League season?
Paul Scholes?
Thierry Henry, believe it or not. Who scored the fastest goal in Premier League history?
Matt Letizia.
It was Shane Long in 7.69 seconds against Watford.
I thought these were easy.
This is easy. Which club was the first to reach 100 points in a Premier League season?
That's not easy. Man U.
It was Man City.
Does it get half?
Yeah. Which club finished the 2003-04 season unbeaten? Told you it was easy.
Manchester.
Arsenal, the Invincibles. Which club is known as the Toffees?
Spurs.
Everton. Which player won the Premier League Golden Boot in the 22-23 season?
Henry?
Haaland.
No, because that's not 1992, is it?
Which Premier League club is known as the Red Devils?
Man U. That's Man U.
Yes, Man U, definite.
Whistling Winders.
I'll ask another question because you did get some stinkers in there.
Whistling Winders.
Which game holds the record for the most goals in a single Premier League match? Pick one of the two teams and I'll give you a point.
I'm waiting for the multiple choice you're going to give me here.
No, I'm not going to give you multiple choice. There's two random teams who aren't in the Premier League anymore, and the score ended 7-4, apparently. Just pick one of those teams. I don't remember the game.
Barnsley.
It wasn't Barnsley. Give us another one. Not in Yorkshire.
No, just going back. Huddersfield.
No. Portsmouth 7, Reading 4, apparently.
Oh.
Don't remember.
I just literally the two worst teams that I've seen in Premier League.
I was thinking of Oldham.
Fair enough, but I think you got 2. Is that right?
2.
2.
Yeah.
And half.
I should have really got the toffees. That was a absolute brain fart.
It's the pressure of being on SWYW superfan. That's what it is, Brez.
There's no pressure. I'm just not really a super fan.
That was evident from your performance, but you got 2. Yeah. No, that's good. You're safely sharing the bottom with Nige from Dodgy, so that's a good place to be, I think.
Sweet.
That's the last time I was on as well.
Yeah. Do you like our theme tune, Brez? Do you like the theme tune to the pod? Do you sing it along?
I might have fast
What are you
forwarded.
talking about? The theme tune on the pod. Listen to this one back. It's a good tune. Nigel Dodgy wrote and sang it. It's very good. Right. So we
is it the one that goes "Sing when you winning, sing when you winning," and there's a good yeah. I've heard that. Yeah, it's cool. Quite catchy.
It is. It's a quality tune.
He's remembered the lyrics and everything.
Yes, I tell you. Sing when you win is the key part to it.
That was just a better guess than most of my quiz questions.
It was. Yeah, I'm half tempted to give you a point for that, but we won't. We're not going to have an update on Bletchley Scott because, as we mentioned last week, there's a couple of. I think they don't play for another week or so. We're going to play a game that we did with Swanee when he was on. Each week we normally pick a kind of an old. Do you like Match Magazine, Shoot Magazine? Did you used to read those as a kid? You didn't. All right. Well, they used to have like player profiles and ask lame questions to footballers and like what was the first car you got and stuff like that, and they would answer them. Most weeks we ask you to guess what a particular footballer said. But as you are a bona fide legendary sports star, we're going to ask you the similar questions yourself. So let's see if there's anything interesting there. So, what is your favorite article of clothing? This is quick fire.
Oh,
really quick fire.
Flip-flops.
Flip-flops. Good stuff. Who is your most famous friend outside cricket?
Don't have any.
Just got cricket mates. Fair enough.
Yeah, not famous friend outside cricket. I mean, I know quite a few people, but I won't say they're like friends. Like
fair enough.
Yeah, quite a tight circle, I keep.
Subject did you hate most at school and why?
All of them.
All of them, apart from even PE. Yeah, PE.
I just I had no time for school whatsoever.
Yeah,
you can probably tell.
Don't have any time for school, and you can be a famous cricketer driving a Jaguar around. Let that be a lesson.
Right. I was like, sorry, I know it's quick fire. I was just going to explain.
No, go on.
I knew what I wanted to do and wanted to be. Like I thought school was a waste of time. I remember I debuted Yorkshire first team at 16. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I missed half my GCSEs and stuff like that, just like from playing first team cricket. So I was like, signed a decent sized contract when I was 15. So it was like,
get on with it.
I mean, it had gone very, very wrong if I'd have got in like career-ending injury at 17, 18. But luckily
but that didn't happen. That's the good thing.
No.
What would you do if you could be invisible for a day?
What would I do? I'd sneak onto a flight.
All right. Anywhere in particular? Where would you like to go?
I just love traveling. Like, I love traveling. Go anywhere. Like, absolutely love it. Seeing different places, people, cultures, all that sort of stuff. Foods, different beers from around the world. Love it.
Great stuff.
So
if you were competing on Mastermind, what would your specialist subject be? Not Premier League football, obviously, but yeah.
Specialist subject, probably
Premier League nicknames.
Nicknames. It'd be probably golf or something like that. golf, Formula One, maybe, or one of the things the kids is into. I don't know, like Dora the Explorer or something like that. Finding Where's Wally.
Yeah.
That'd be a good mastermind, wouldn't it?
It'd be a great mastermind. It'd be the best episode yet. Where's Wally? And who are your favourite music stars?
Like favourite band, probably Kasabian.
Yeah.
Yeah, love them. Like most of my playlists that I do on Spotify, I'll have some element of Kasabian in there. Kings of Leon as well. Awesome. That sort of genre.
Great stuff. Yeah. Great stuff. And the last question: have you ever been mistaken for someone else?
Yeah. Get it all the time. All the time. John Richardson.
John Richardson, yeah?
Yeah. Especially when I felt like shave this down a bit. Grow my hair out.
Would you do stand up? Would you try and do stand up?
I think I'm a bit drier than he is.
and in that delivery as well, it would work. You should do it. Get up on stage. Brilliant.
If you ask Jamie for some letters, he might be able to see if we can get a word out of you. Consonant, vowel, consonant.
Yeah, get on countdown for sure. Right. Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this week's podcast, Brez. You can follow us on Twitter at SWYW_FPL. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can leave us a comment, remember, or ask us an FPL question, and we might even discuss it in next week's show, where we'll be joined by another top guest. So, as I said, thanks again to you, Brez, and good luck with the season. Thanks again to Chris for coming off the bench, super sub. Enjoy the Leeds match this Friday morning, as for you, Steve, too. Enjoy your footballing week and keep on singing and keep on winning. Goodbye. So I'll have a great editing job on this one before Friday morning, but it's good stuff.